Algebra teacher yelled at me for asking for help. He told me, don't ask me. Ask your partner first. Then I turned around and asked my partner for help. He then yelled me at again, don't ask her. If you need help, ask me. In 3rd grade I got 10% taken off one of my tests for spelling my name wrong. When I went to go tell the teacher I knew how to spell my name, she sent me to the principal for smarting off. Yeah, I know how to spell my own name. This happened to me too. My parents wanted my name to be unique and went with an extremely uncommon spelling on top of a rare name. I didn't get sent to the principal, but my 1st grade teacher called a parent-teacher conference to impress upon my parents that I refused to spell my name correctly and I had a shitty attitude, because I 100% knew my name's spelling and I loved it, and I was frustrated with this dumb witch of a teacher who seemed to hate me for some reason. My mom was furious and chewed my teacher out for making her leave work early for something so stupid. Shockingly, that incident did not make my teacher like me more. The correct spelling could be found on the class list. No? That teacher must be an absolute embezzle, and I think the reason this can happen to some teachers is that they think too highly of themselves and that they can't be wrong. It's true that power corrupts people. Pretty insane that they wouldn't at least bother to just check the class roster really quickly. On an unrelated note, I think you mean imbecile. In grade 1, there was a day where everyone brought in their favorite stuffed animal. The teachers warned us not to bring valuable ones because there was a chance they could get damaged. I brought my favorite stuffed animal. The teacher's daughter and a boy in my class completely destroyed it, ripped it, cut it up, colored on it. I went to the teacher and told on them. They got absolutely no punishment for destroying my stuffed animal. The teacher reprimanded me for tattling and told me that I shouldn't have brought a stuffed animal that I cared about, since there was a risk of it getting damaged. Most of the teachers in the school were really awesome, but that one was decidedly not. I didn't get along well with her daughter, and she always took her daughter's side. Oh my god, did we go to the same school? I had the exact same thing happen to me. I brought my beloved sheepy, my favorite stuffed little sheep, into school one day and left him on my desk for maybe 3 minutes to go grab some art supplies for the craft we were doing. This absolute dick in my class poured an entire bottle of Elmer's glue on my sheep. He was completely ruined and it wouldn't come off in the wash. There was only one kid in our class who ever behaved that way and who was a constant bully. I knew he did it, but the teacher refused to punish him or even ask who did it. Just told me too bad so sad basically. I bawled and had to retire my favorite stuffed animal. My pre-K teacher yelled at me for yawning after waking up from nap hour. She said sleep isn't supposed to make you yawn. I saw a dust devil for the first time and said what the? I got in trouble for it. The teacher said you could have said a bad word. But I didn't. I woulda say okay then f*** you. I was in kindergarten. We had a girls' entrance and a boys' entrance at my secondary modern school, UK, in 1972. I was 12 and proud of the result of my first visit to a proper grown-up hairdresser's, what we now call a mullet but back then was known as a feather cut and was extremely fashionable for both boys and girls at the time. I was in the crowd going through the door when a teacher roared, "You boy! What do you think you're doing?" Being very much a girl, I didn't take any notice until I felt the hand of impending doom on my shoulder. It was my own form teacher who didn't recognize me without my waist-length ponytail. What is the point of gendered entrances? Girls have cooties. Needing to use the restroom. Some teachers are straight crazy. Can I go to the bathroom? You mean may I go to the bathroom? No, because I want to go. There was a teacher that picked on this boy because he couldn't speak proper English, and she would always say it's May when he asked to go to the restroom. She did this on April 30th and one of my friends said actually, it's still April. I loved it. I doodled on my jeans in 10th grade and the assistant principal literally pulled me out of class and called my aunt to come get me. When she got there, he just started going off and pointing to me with "Look at what she did." My aunt just rolled her eyes and said she's 15, I don't know what you expected. I really needed to pee once, but I had to wait for a teacher to get her pass. So I stood outside the classroom waiting for her. She sees me, angrily tells me to go back inside. This teacher said we had to greet her first. I'd if this happens in other countries, but in mine, we have to greet the teacher together when they enter the class, so we, the students, greet her. She then lectures me and the class about how it was wrong of me to stand outside the class, because she would have gotten in trouble with the principal for having a student outside the classroom. And she continues to talk about how it was rude that I didn't wait until after the greeting to ask for her toilet pass. All this while, I needed to pee so bad that I could barely stand straight. There were a few classmates sympathetically looking at me throughout this. 2 months into the first grade I got suspended for lightly touching the arm of the teacher. This wasn't the first time I got in trouble with her. She was very strict and I grew up with my rather laid-back mother and I've been to a let's call it hippie kindergarten, Kinderladen. So she was my first real authority person. We were standing outside at the classroom door, there was a lot of noise and I wanted to tell her something but she did not listen. I do not remember what it was. So I touched her arm lightly to get her attention. I got suspended and the school janitor watched me until my mother picked me up. I did switch schools after that to a much more understanding and patient teacher. I once got in trouble for scratching my ear in 2nd grade. She thought I was plugging my ear while she was talking. Even when I calmly explained to her that I wasn't. Not in trouble, but I got called down to the dean's office cause a girl was really into me and I wasn't about it, so he called me down to tell me not to make it weird for her. One of our science teachers once gave someone a detention for farting. I never heard about this until a fundraiser the school had where we all got to donate £1 and then throw a wet sponge at a teacher of our choice, and one kid in the year below me threw the sponge and yelled, "This is for giving me a detention for farting." I wish I had the context for this, but at least he got his revenge. I finished my exam within 15 minutes but got scolded for not taking it seriously, then told me to actually use my brain until the time runs out, so I went back to my seat and sleep for 80 minutes the day after the result is out and I got an almost perfect score. Also, one time I dated the principal's only daughter. A student teacher told me and 2 other students to put our desks in a circle. I said 3 desks make a triangle, not a circle. She kicked me out of the class for the day. In 2nd grade I got in trouble for literally breathing. I was yelled at in front of my class by another teacher who was visiting my class, saw that I breathed in heavily because she held our class up. So she berated and yelled how disrespectful I was. She made me cry and told me to sit in another class and to write an apology. I wrote sorry for breathing.
Premiumbeat.com